Waking up at 12:14. Talk so much all night that I forget how to be. Making sure that you're okay. Hope it's not too hard when I reply with a light. It's been hard to dream. The story's all messed up and I don't wanna repeat. Excuses we make day after day. Play something that we're us and exactly. Play this is my name all night. So maybe we can say goodbye just tonight. I really don't want to fight. I'm trying my best to be alive.
YouTube fam, that theme song be getting you ready, right? It gets me ready. You know what time it is right now. We are rolling in with a new episode of Objections with myself and On the Block with Jim. We are so glad to have you here, spending a little bit of time with us. You can be anywhere, you could be doing anything, and many of you actually are often doing other things at the same time. It's all good. We're just glad you could spend a little bit of time with me. So happy to have you here. You know me, I like to go through here and kind of give some shout outs. Um, Adrian Nash. Let me see what y'all talking about. Okay. Yeah, it's been a minute too, Adrian. You come in here and mess with me all the time. Where you been? Where you been? Let's see. Here we go. Patrice Gardner in the house. So glad to have you here. Greetings and salutations. Always happy to have you. So on point with your contributions at all times. Vaughn in the house. How you doing? Glad to have you here right at the beginning. Always here to support. Right here, Vaughn, letting you know I'm here supporting. Appreciate that as always. And then we got, let's see, I forget if I mentioned Blind Guy, his wife, their life. If I mentioned you before, I'm saying it again because it's two of y'all anyway, so I might as well say hey to both Laquita and Corey, right? Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, Adrian did make it. Coming here to mess with me. So yeah, we all are here. Can y'all hear me? Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me just fine. Let's see here. Maybe I need to push this mic a little bit. Let me know if you guys can hear me just fine. Waiting on the ones, waiting on the ones. I'm gonna assume. Yeah, there we go. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Okay. All right. So we do have another episode of Objections. As you all can see here, we are getting into, and it's always interesting and popular to have the celebrity talk. But sometimes we don't necessarily get into some of the aspects of this whole celebrity thing that we have going down. So you see here, we have this question of whether or not you have our celebrity fans, are they becoming celebrity mobs? You know, and then it's not even necessarily just restricted to. Hold on, let me stop right here. See, Adrian getting started. She's just getting started. Now I know she means this. I've missed you so very much, but adding that little bit of drama in there, and Adrian, we're gonna see how you we're gonna see what you do tonight. Oh, we got a first time. So let me definitely welcome you and give you props to a first timer with us. Black and Healthy, Restoring Black America. Hi, Frank. First time catching you. Hi, everyone. Let us know if you have a YouTube channel, Black and Healthy. I'm going to assume that you do. Before I bring my very, very sharp and very, very try to check me. Let me just go ahead and bring her on right now.
Hi.
Hey, on the block with Jen. So glad to have you here.
Let me fix my frame. How is everybody? I see we have a first timer. Uh-oh, buckle up.
Yes, get ready. Get ready. Let's see here. What I like to do, yeah. So she's saying that he or she is saying that they have a YouTube channel. So I'm gonna get you to throw that somewhere where I can copy it as well. We always try to support each other's channels here while we are objecting with each other. So what you're gonna find here, you know what? This gives me a good opportunity, Black and Healthy, to just tell you a little bit. What we do here is we bring up topics and we do debate them. Oftentimes, Jen and I have different perspectives, and what you see is a very spirited debate, just as Adrian is saying here, spirited evening, where we talk about them and we don't mind disagreeing. But what's so cool about it is that, listen, we have fun disagreeing. We are respectful with it. We never take it too far. The key is just having a respectful difference of opinion. And when we do that, we give each other space to learn a little bit. I know I have learned from our previous debates, and I can't speak for Jim. What is it the same with you?
Absolutely. I'd say that I'm more considerate, like, you know what I mean? Because I have a very aggressive opinion. But a couple of times, speaking of, she just entered the room. Hi, Patrice Garner. A couple of times, Patrice has said some things where not only how she received what we were saying, but also the things that she introduced to the debate kind of not completely changed my mind, but swayed my the way I approach it. So I appreciate everybody, even if they disagree with me. There's always something to learn. There's always something to learn, and people forget that because sometimes we come in with these opinions that it's like I'm not budging, but there's always something to learn from the opposite end of things. So I'm still gonna object to you, Frank.
Okay, I was trying to soften you up, but I guess we'll just see how that goes. You see, Adrian over here giving you props on those glasses now.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Vaughn letting us know that we are, and so we're really, really happy with it. And what we want to do is continue to do these types of discussions and debates where you feel free to voice your objection because you know that it's going to be received properly. And we're going to bring it if we disagree with you, but you may bring some points that give us a little bit of food for thought. So with that, you see that our subject today is all about these celebs and these celebrity mobs. What I want to do is kind of jump right in. Oh, before I do that, let me acknowledge real quick, Cash App that from Brother Vaughn sent me something. Appreciate all the support as well. Anytime you want to do that, you see in fact, I'll just throw it up here real quick. I'll put it down in a minute because I want to dive in. But if you do want to support, then we want to give you the option to do so here. So celebrity mobs. Let's start it out a little bit like this. What I want to do is at least couch the conversation in a little bit of history. As we know, this whole celebrity mob thing, where you have the celebrity fans going in and really, really following the celebrity and supporting the celebrity. This isn't new. This has been here a while. Some of the more popular ones that I can think of are, Beehive.
Beehive.
Is it? See, I'm getting it wrong. Is it the Beehive? I thought it was the Beehive.
It's the Beehive for Beyonce. Beehive.
Okay. All right. Well, I know she spells it B-E-Y, no? Okay. So she just, okay, my bad then. So anyway, so we'll just have that one. But there are a few other ones as well. Let me actually throw a quick screen and maybe I can go down. I actually had.
We have Rihanna. She has the Navy, right?
Yes, I've seen that one. Rihanna has the Navy. Let's see here. Let me do it right here. See if you guys can see this one. Does that pop up for you?
Yes, Katy Perry.
Yes. So Katy Perry, she calls hers the Katy Cats.
The Katy Cats.
Little Mix, the Mixers. I'm not so sure who they are. Ariana Grande, the Arianators. How's that for it?
I've heard of them.
Okay, like how, I don't know if I would want to be called an Arianator. Same thing with Lady Gaga, Little Monsters.
Yes. Also, Mariah Carey, I think she calls hers the Lambs, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know because I don't follow them too close.
The Lambs.
I'm just kind of going through. You see what I'm saying? This went through me. I saw Beehive and you're saying it's Beehive. Okay.
It's Beehive.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So you can go down. And so the interesting thing is that, typically with these celebs, and I guess most of them do come from the arena of music, that, you have our fans that really, we might want to describe them as just, Nicki Minaj has the barbs. Yeah. I've heard of that one. They ride, for their celebrity. They support them sort of unconditionally. If the leader, if the celeb has something to say, then pretty much you could believe that most of that group, that fandom, that mob, they're gonna think the same way. And that's maybe the positive side of it, because in a way that's kind of normal. It's like that with more than just celebrities. We have, with the dudes, if we're in the sports like football, we got our football teams, and we ride with our team no matter what. Basketball, same thing. So I think that this is something that maybe is normal, but what the interesting part is is how the internet, social media has activated,
Mhm.
has given these mobs and these groups the ability to actually do more than just root on their celebrity. So I'm
Right.
going to stop there, and I want to throw it to you, and if you have anything to add on the setup, and then whatever your initial point of view you might want to make, you can jump right in.
Well, I have personal experience with mobs. I wouldn't say celebrity mobs, right? But we also know that now it's morphed into something different where it's like if you're just a regular person, quote unquote regular person with a following on social media. You can be a YouTube personality, as you know, an Instagram personality, a Twitter personality. And if people just like what you're saying, you know what I mean, you adopt all these people who just like your personality or your point of view, and then you also have a mob. So it's definitely not just celebrities, right? It's any public figure, and now we're all public figures. I don't care if you have 10 followers or 10,000 or 10 million. If you are online, you are a public figure. You're an independent contractor, journalist. You are a public figure. It is your page, it is your opinion. And again, little following or big following, you are now a public figure because you are sharing your opinion with the public.
Hmm.
As you know, it's been made fun of, the Beehive, right? The Beehive is like, oh, don't say anything about Beyonce because the Beehive is going to get you. And it was something at first that was funny and lighthearted and cute because it just seemed like some fans looking out, for their favorite celebrity. But I don't want to go too far here. I'll throw it back to you. But it's morphed into something else, and it's morphed into dangerous zones now. So it's no longer lighthearted and fun. Say like two guys fighting over their favorite teams. Now it's getting really scary for some people. And I have personal experience with it. We can get into that later. But it's been interesting to watch it morph into something else now that's beyond just oh my god, I'm a fan, I'm excited to see you, I'm fainting if you're singing, right? Front row Michael Jackson concert, they're pulling people out because they're fainting. I think now it's just getting really, really dark. But that's what I wanted to say about it. If you want to add something to that.
Yeah, let me pick it up and kind of advance it. So you just talked about how it kind of seems that way, or we know that it's like that with celebrities. And then we see how, for example, on YouTube, the sort of everyday person or the normal person has the ability to develop a following if enough people like what they're saying. And so now you see the same thing going on YouTube with the YouTube personalities developing their fandom. And the question then becomes, because as you say, they're public figures, just like these celebrities are public figures. The question becomes then, and you see it here, do public figures actually thrive off their fans, which I'm going to say, have in many ways have the ability to morph into fanatics and therefore and create a mob. And we've seen that. And there are a lot of great things about the Black manosphere, for example. I'm happy that the Black manosphere exists because the Black manosphere does speak and give a platform for Black men that traditionally we have not had. And so on that side of it, it's like finally, you have a collective voice that kind of speaks for Black men, so to speak, or at least speaks about things that are that Black men haven't had an opportunity to actually have a collective voice on in the public sphere being addressed. And I think that's good. But then you have some, you get together and it's almost like if this is kind of how I see it. In a lot of ways, the Black male, as we know, in this country has been whipped and abused and thrown about and talked about. And when you finally get a little bit of that chance to hit back or get a little power, you just go nuts with it because it's like a cathartic release. You kind of see that happening in the Black manosphere a little bit. And so I think there are times I think a little. We can talk about it. This might be our first debate if we get there. But so the question is, when you have the leader of the fandom, the leader of the mob, um, you know, benefiting in a lot of ways from the presence of it, do they thrive? Do they actually thrive? Like, we can maybe kick it back to the celebs if you want, but I believe it's a collective question. Do public figures thrive off the existence of these fanatic mobs? You want to have a point on that?
Yes, I do actually. Something I've observed is let's go back to the Beehive, right? The Beehive has become very, very famous online, right? Everybody knows about the Beehive to the point where you can have a mild opinion about Beyonce's wig, like, oh, I don't like that wig. I like the one that she wore at the last concert, right? And then the swarm comes, right? Quote unquote, the Beehive is going to get you. You know what I mean? And so it's really, 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 really well known, right? Whether you take it as a joke or something serious. I find it interesting that Beyonce knows that this, and this is where people are gonna get mad, but just so you know, I don't give a damn about nobody's hive. Okay, let's start there, right? Beyonce knows that her hive is bullying people, threatening people, and it's not hard to find out. Beyonce has a team of people that are constantly watching social media to see how people respond to every little thing she does. So I'm sure she's been told, look, this is going on. And I just wish that celebrities would be more like what I saw Selena Gomez do. Selena Gomez is a singer slash actress. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but I think she started on some like Nickelodeon shows. You could correct me if I'm wrong. And now she's a singer and an actress. She's much older, though. She's not a Nickelodeon star anymore. So the other day, I found it interesting that she did a public service announcement and said, look, I know I have my fans. Please, please, please do not bully people in my name. Do not attack people in my name. I don't want people to do that, especially in my name, right? So you can't tell me that Beyonce doesn't know that this is going on, yet she's never said anything about it. If I had 50 million followers and my assistant told me, listen, every time someone criticizes you, your swarm of fans just go crazy and start threatening people and threatening taking down their pages, I would say something about it. You know what I mean? I would say something about it. So going back to your question, do these celebrities thrive? Absolutely. I think the celebrities enjoy it. I think the celebrities enjoy not ever being wrong, because if you have a mob, right, that's constantly attacking people with an opinion, right, then it's part narcissistic, right? It's like and we're going to get into narcissism, because what they become are flying monkeys. And I study narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, right? I have books on it and stuff because I was studying for a project that I'm doing. But there is this thing with narcissism called flying monkeys, and the reason why they call them flying monkeys is because they're named after the monkeys in the Wizard of Oz. Remember, the witch would send out her monkeys to do her dirty work. So now celebrities and public figures have their own flying monkeys, where it's kind of like, I don't have to say anything because I know the Beehive is going to react. So you can talk about my wig if you want to, but you're going to get attacked here. And celebrities know this. Celebrities know what's going on, whether it's Beyonce or Rihanna, or whoever, Rihanna's Navy or Ariana Grande's Arianators, or whatever she calls them. Celebrities know that this is going on. So I thought it was great that Selena Gomez made a point of saying, listen, don't attack people in my name. And I think when you're a very secure person in your career, right, and you really don't give zero F's what people say about you, right, then you would say something like that, right? I wouldn't want a group of people bullying a 13-year-old because the 13-year-old didn't like my glasses or my hair or the dress I wore to the Grammys. It's not necessary. I don't need it. So it's very curious to me when celebrities know that this is going on in their name and they don't talk about it, because Beyonce has a lot of power. If Beyonce went online and said, hey, Beehive, I love you guys. And another thing is, Beyonce's never addressed the Beehive. So it's even more peculiar that people go so hard for her. And it's like the narrative you see online is, you guys are doing all this for someone that wouldn't even piss on you or would ignore you when you ask them about that. You know what I mean? They don't even know you. These celebrities don't know you. So she has a lot of power. Celebrities have power to
Mhm.
say yay or nay to a behavior that's going on in their name. So I'm really shocked that she hasn't come forth and said, hey guys, don't do that. I don't need it. I am Beyonce, right?
Mhm.
Regardless of what the critique is, I am Beyonce. I don't need it. So
Mhm.
I'm shocked that she hasn't, because they're vicious. They are vicious
Mhm.
online, and you know, talking about Beyonce or even having a mere opinion is not for the faint of heart. Like, you got to be ready to, you got to have your thumbs ready on your phone if you're gonna have an opinion.
Mhm. I'm with you. You know what? It's let's go into that psychology just a little bit, because I think it's worth talking and processing out a little bit. I agree with Vaughn here. Vaughn leaves a message here, a comment. When it comes to celebrity mobs, I think they can be quite insensitive. And you know, insensitive might be the most nicest way we can put it. They always seem to take the side of who they are following, even if they are wrong. So let's talk just a little bit. It's like, you know, when you have somebody who you know, admire, like say if it's Beyonce, her singing talent, performing talent, or if it's another, you know, music artist, or if we take it to YouTube and they're saying something that you agree with, or you feel like they have a mission that you can vibe with. What happens is, as we know, we build this community, and it becomes sort of like a family. At least we seek to make it sort of like a family, and it becomes a part of your identity. And that leader of that identity, um, if someone on the outside comes in and attacks them, then it's like you're feeling attacked. And no matter what, it's like, clan up, clan up, we're gonna all, you know, handle this. And and I think that, of course, is part of what's happening. If ever, you know, you have someone who comes in and maybe says something critical about somebody who is, you know, the leader of this mob or the famous person. But like you say, what happens, or what can happen, is on this in this online space, it can quickly turn into bullying. And
Mhm.
it seems like that's exactly, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's where it goes. And so it's kind of worth talking about, because you know, we know that when it comes to online bullying, we try to that's one of the things that we want to protect our kids from, and you hear people talk about it all the time. But we don't talk nearly as much about the bullying that can happen and does happen from adults, you know, fully grown, good and grown adults following these, you know, people. And we see it on YouTube all the time. It'll be one group against another group, or they all clan up and they're going to go and even, you know, threaten to take down someone's channel if someone, you know, all of that happens. We need to be aware of it. We need to, you know, this is why we should talk about it. It's like, hey, number one, this is what's happening, and don't fall into it. You can have someone who you admire actually be wrong. And from the person side, I'm with you, Jim, when you say it's narcissistic, because now they know they got a group that's going to ride with them no matter what.
Mhm.
And maybe that's a calculation for somebody like Beyonce, who says, you know what? They with me. This is my team. And no matter what, I'm not going to say not even one thing that might say, you know, criticize them or be critical or tell them to pull back. Also, maybe she feels like if she does that, maybe somehow somebody will turn on her. I'm going to take this somewhere in a minute, but I'm going to throw it back to you in a second. But there's something to that notion that you feel like you have someone who is going to be on your side no matter what, and so you want to clan up with them, and because you got the power now, you're the leader of that. That's like, isn't that seductive, and you know, being like a power thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Go
It,
ahead.
it it absolutely is, because going back to the quote unquote manosphere, I'm not gonna let you drive by with that
Mhm.
one. We're gonna get into the manosphere and the nature of the manosphere. You know, it happens a lot, I notice, in the manosphere, right? Now, at one point, I was completely green to the YouTube streets, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys heard this story before, but Tariq Nasheed and I had got into it before. And people were like, you know, DMing me and telling me, this was before I knew anything about like the cults and the clans, because these are really, it's gone further than just fans. right? And
Mhm.
mobs. These are like cults. And the reason why I say they're like cults is because they admire this person. And it's just like, I'm going to age myself here, but back when Madonna was hot, or Janet Jackson was hot, what did all us young girls go out and do? We went out and bought the gloves that they wore or the shirts that they wore, right? That's what fans do. It's like, I admire the clothes that the singer is wearing. I admire, the gloves that she, oh my God, I like her hairstyle. Let me cut my hair like Pleasure Principle. And you know what I mean? That's what we did, right? But now it's getting bizarre to where they're becoming cult-like followings, where they're parroting what these people are saying to other people. I'll just go right in the manosphere, right? It's a cult-like following where it's to the point now where other men are regurgitating to women that they've never met, that they will never meet, the same exact things that their leaders tell them. And I'm gonna say leader because if you're a follower and you're respecting this person to the point where your point of views are now like this person, right? You're a follower, right? So their followers start parroting the same language, even when it doesn't fit. And it's bizarre, right? Like they'll be, for example, they'll be in a debate with a woman online, and that's why you're gonna die with cats, and you ain't even married. And it's like, wait a minute, you don't even know if I'm married. What the fuck? Like, it's like you don't even know if I'm married. But then you think back to their leaders, and it's like, that's a narrative that their leader put out, and that's language that their leader put out. So it's very much like a cult, right? If you're religious, you're gonna say quotes from the Bible, right? Because that is your sanctuary, and this is what I learned. I don't care if you're a gamer, right? There's certain language that gamers use. I don't care if you're a surfer. There's certain language that surfers use, right? Where another surfer will know this surfer is a surfer, right? So that's what happens in the manosphere. But unfortunately, going back to what you said, that it's like, hey, Black men finally have a voice. And then it's like, no, I think the manosphere is more Black men finally have somewhere to be vitriolic, right? In a mob.
We gonna fight. We about to fight. Go ahead.
We can fight.
Go ahead.
I think that the manosphere probably started as something positive, right? And then it just turned into something really, really negative, really, really quick. Like it went from a little blaze, and now we have forest fires of hundreds of men online attacking women because, some dude in a suit, right? With a candle burning, told them you have every right to be this certain way. Now people will say, yeah, but someone like Kevin Samuels, yeah, but Kevin Samuels don't tell him to go out there and do that. And here, that's not how it works. He doesn't get off that way. He is giving people an outlet to be vitriolic, and he knows it. So going back to the question, do public figures thrive off their fanatic mobs? Absolutely. Going back to when you even said, are they kind of like, yeah, look, this mob is going after that person for me, and I'm not going to say anything about this mob because this mob benefits me. Now it's been monetized. The manosphere has been monetized. People know you got a YouTube channel, cha-ching, 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 right? So even in that other incident with the divorced attorney, like he was like, when I said, a lot of people that follow you are idiots, what did he say? He stopped the call. He took me off the call. Right? Because he's like, wait a minute, these people are throwing a lot of money in my Cash App. I can't have you talking sideways about them. He knows he's thriving, from that following. So the manosphere is actually a great example of fanatic mobs. Now, if you have knowledge of the manosphere being something positive, and it's very healing for Black love, and you see nothing but positivity from the manosphere because it's a platform for Black men to express themselves, then you let me know. Give me somebody to follow aside from you. Give me somebody to follow. I can just hear a Black man talk positive about love or relationships or religion. Give me some.
So there's a difference. So check it out. So I don't maybe not necessarily have a list, but check it out. We can't. So for me, this is where I'm going to grant you. Do we have situations where the mobs or the fans or the fanatics of, certain personalities. Let's talk about Kevin Samuels since he's brought up. Clown and act a fool and act up. Absolutely, we do. It happens no matter what. We've had fans clown for the Beehive. We've had fans clown for even for the one that you named, who the person had to come out and say, listen, don't be bullies, if I'm not mistaken. But part of what I'm getting at is that it happens. I don't think it's the right thing to do to judge the entire effort off of the actions of, relatively few, the smaller number who are clowning. An analogy might be when you have a march for, say, something that happens, with Black Lives Matter, or when someone, black male gets murdered, and we have a rightful, peaceful march to, protest the conditions. And then you have a few knuckleheads want to take advantage of it and, maybe bust up something or start fights or whatever. You should not judge the entire movement, on the actions of that. Or the law enforcement will say, don't judge all of us because a few of us take advantage of the law. Don't do that. Don't put us on. I don't think we should do that here. Yeah, we're going to have some clowns that are in the manosphere who cut up and will do exactly what you said. Go out and, speak out of turn or find ways to denigrate women. And just just really be inappropriate with it. But that's not the majority. And that's not even what Kevin Samuels is about. Yeah, I don't think we should misinterpret being critical of the situation, which he is fiercely critical, relentlessly critical of a lot of different things. The way that things have now progressed with what he calls the modern woman, and all the ins and outs. And he'll have callers come on the show, and if from his perspective, if they for the streets, he will treat them like they from the streets. He does have a point to it, and the point is all about trying to create conditions and bring about an awareness to bring the whole Black family back together again. And from his standpoint, and from a lot, not just him, we have, I forget how to exactly pronounce her name, but back in the 90s, Shahrazad Ali, is that how you say her name? Somebody correct me or type it up in the chat. And others who, will be just straightforward with criticism of how, say, Black women, in this particular case, are in terms of the modern woman and how you get it from society, blah, blah, blah. There are reasons why, there are legitimate reasons why you have the Black manosphere commenting on certain things that from our perspective are like way out of order. There's a difference between that, and saying that, oh, it now has created a condition where we can just spew, vitriolic and toxic ideas. Some people do that, but and in your case, I believe maybe, Jen, you have been a personal victim of it. Maybe, and maybe you can talk about it in terms of what
I've experienced it. I ain't been nobody's victim.
Okay, my bad.
Because I definitely I throw back as hard as I get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So not a victim, my bad. But you've experienced. So I don't. Real quick, what I want to say is I don't want it to be a situation where it's like, because you've experienced it, that, oh, it's like that for everybody. It's really not, from my perspective. And no, I definitely disagree with you that, it's all about creating a condition where Black men cannot just come out and just basically jump on, Black women or on women in general.
I object.
I see.
I would say, first of all, I think Kevin Samuels is very entertaining. And, I go back to a broke clock is right twice a day, right? A broke clock is right. There's some things that he has said about women that I agree with. There's some things that he said about men that I agree with. But I don't think that it's like what you said. Oh, it's only a couple bad apples. It's an entire system, right? Like the police department, the reason why the police department can't say it's just a couple bad apples, it's because it's a system. right? It's a system where the bad apple, the sergeant isn't telling him anything, the lieutenant isn't telling him anything, the captain isn't telling him anything. Then when he goes to court, he gets away with the murdering the unarmed black man. It's a system, right? That's why they can't say it's a couple of bad apples. Now with the manosphere, no, it's not a couple of bad apples, okay? I've had 50 to 100 men in my comments defending Tariq Nasheed. I've had 50 to 100 men in my comments defending Kevin Samuels. It is a mob. It is not like 100 guys like, hey, I understand. Some people disagree, right? Some people agree. And then 2 or 3, you know what I mean, bad apples are in there saying, hey, leave Kevin Samuels alone. These guys are creating an entire system and an atmosphere where they are being weaponized. That's an issue. They are being weaponized. These people are not just humbly agreeing with you. They're talking about doxing you. They're talking about releasing your home address to people. That to me is not a couple of bad apples. These men are being weaponized. So, you know, you have to say what's that saying? I don't know if it's biblical or it's just an old, I don't know, mythology or Shakespeare.
Don't quote the Bible on us. Don't get caught quoting the Bible, Jen.
But you have to, it's probably the furthest thing from a Bible quote, but it's like you have to look at the fruit the tree bears. Let us not ignore that.
Sorry, that's from the Bible, but go ahead.
That's from the Bible? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Bible. I told you there's some good stuff in there.
The fruit.
I will never deny some good stuff in there.
Okay.
Right? So you have to look at the fruit the tree bears, right? Kevin Samuels is not talking to men that after he talks to them, they're going out now and wearing suits and approaching women differently and thinking about family life. No, sir. Kevin Samuels is creating men who are vitriolic, who now feel like they have a leader and a platform where they can be disgusting to Black women. Absolutely despicable. The things that I've seen. And here's the problem, right? When you're like, well, you know, he's not all the way bad. He is being weaponized. I don't see men sharing, right, when he's talking about men. The reason why he blew up was because he was degrading a woman. Okay, Kevin Samuels didn't blow up because his name is not
the average at best.
Wait a minute. His name is not synonymous with Black love. His name is not synonymous with trying to put the Black family together. His name is not synonymous with understanding compassion and being communicative with your partner. His name is synonymous with, you go on his page, a woman's going to call, and he is going to tear her limb from limb. Let's not pretend that people are tuning in for anything else. With that said, is it entertaining? Is it funny? Yeah, but he's no Les Brown. Okay, let's not play dumb. We know what he's putting out there, and it's growing, and people are seeing his success. And what are they doing? The minions are all putting out YouTube pages now, bashing women. So let's not pretend it's not happening. And Tommy Sotomayor used to do it. Kevin Samuels just decided to do it in a suit, so he got more attention. But we got the Donovan Sharps and this. You know, now it's like it's growing and growing and growing. Now, with that said, and I'll throw it back to you, now women are catching on and women are doing it.
Okay? Women were doing it first.
Women are doing it. I mean, on specifically on YouTube, but let's not pretend like, because I hear that too, like, yeah, Black men finally have a platform. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Black men and Black women, and people are going to be like, hey, don't talk about us because you Latin, you don't know, right? Whatever. I'm not getting into my family history right now. But from the very beginning, Black men and Black women, right, were torn apart, right? Since slavery. We know that. It's not a secret. The families were torn apart. Then insert the welfare system. Then insert mass incarceration. So from the beginning of time, Black love was a target. Okay. Black men and Black women have always had issues loving each other, right? So let's not pretend that it's like, oh, Black men were like these, you know, these downtrodden, you know, innocent people, and Black women were just like, Black men are supposed to lead our communities, our families, right? And then women just said, F it, I'm going to take over and do it, right? And then they got abused for being strong women. So there's so many layers to it and so much to unpack. I just hate the narrative of, oh, Black women were these monsters for decades, and then Kevin Samuels set the Black man free. Like, it's bullshit. Come on. Since the beginning of time, there's always been problems. There's always been problems. And you're not going to solve those problems with a guy in a suit and a beard and a turtleneck talking about Black women need to do X, Y, and Z. That's not going to solve the Black community, but it's going to make him rich because people are hurt. People are hurting. Black men and Black women are hurting. So they just want someone who's going to speak for them with a large platform. And men think Kevin Samuels speaks for them. And somebody like Cynthia G, I've seen Cynthia G does the same thing. She bashes Black men all the time, and her following is completely Black women who agree. So there's so much pain on both sides. There's so many unresolved issues on both sides. And I will always stress that. But I think that the manosphere is just adding fuel to the fire. The manosphere is not healing. The manosphere is not helping. But if you want a good laugh, if you want to see Kevin Samuels, tear a woman frame from frame and tell her how ugly she is and how average she is and how she's not married, then you tune into Kevin Samuels for a couple of laughs and you keep pushing. But there's nothing healing going on over there because he says, oh, the Black family got to get back together. Like, there's this. Come on, he's an entertainer.
I'm gonna ask you
to help people.
So
and I'm gonna end it with this. Something that's very important.
Okay.
These people are not qualified psychologists. Name one of them. Not the divorce attorney, not Donovan Sharp, not Kevin Samuels, not Tommy Sotomayor, not Tariq Nasheed, not Cynthia G. They are not qualified psychologists. Okay, they're just preying on people that are pissed off. Mm-hmm. That's it. They're just preying on people that are pissed off. What the hell does Kevin Samuels know about psychology, right? And trauma? Because if a man is striking out at women now because Kevin Samuels put a battery in his back, right? What does he know? How does that heal that person? They don't know anything about psychology. They just know what we just did. Log on and click live.
All right.
So it's dangerous to have somebody preaching to people who are hurt and damaged and are suffering from PTSD from relationships or their parents. It's dangerous to preach to those people and make them more vitriolic and then send them out there. It's dangerous, but they don't care because they're getting paid.
All right. So it's my turn. I get to say, but I'm gonna use part of my time to actually bring some people up right now because we got a couple people in the back. Yes. What I'll say first before I bring them up is like, for me, you strike me as someone who hasn't been watching Kevin Samuels lately. I don't know when's the last time you saw like one of his shows from beginning to end. But
I wouldn't do that.
Say again?
I wouldn't do that. In
right. I don't even want to know why, because I done gave you about 5-10 minutes already. But you strike me as someone who hasn't, because that's some of the things that you're saying are just not accurate in terms of what he's doing now. Maybe
even though I've seen him say it.
Well, you've seen snippets of things where you get a certain point of view based on something that happens within a small context of a full, 2-hour, 3-hour stream. I feel like you're reacting to some things based on that. I think that we should definitely watch a full show, in order to get the accurate. I'm not going to try to invalidate your points here. I'm just saying I think that you are kind of speaking from not necessarily watching a full show. Then when it comes to TLA, I just want to say real quick. So, and I'll bring, let me bring Patrice up so I can go into this. And same thing with Jawanda. So glad to have you all here. I'm going to pull my banner down a little bit so we can see the names, just so, because that's kind of, yeah. When it comes to TLA, I feel like he has a right now, whatever the cause of it, the back and forth that you and he had when you came at the chat, and I understand, when I say come at, you had a comment that was basically, about the chat, and he pulled you off. From his perspective, I think he has the prerogative to say, you know what, I'm just gonna, you coming at the chat, and I don't, that's one of my standing rules for the reasons that you're saying. If the chat is what is kind of supporting him and he don't want, someone to go back and forth with the chat, then I feel like that's something that is, I think that's his prerogative. So I'll just kind of leave it there. We have our people here, so I want to give them an opportunity. Patrice, I'm going to throw it to you first. I'm probably going to step off a little bit because I actually got to jump off, and my daughters came in, and I got to let them in the house real quick. so, so I'm going to throw it to Patrice.
Go
You
ahead,
must have,
Daddy.
okay, yeah, right. You must have an objection. So what is your objection?
Okay. Hey, panel, everybody. Thanks. I do agree with Jen to a certain extent regarding the manosphere and the Kevin Samuels situation to a point. It kind of reminds me of religion, right? Like there's certain truths to all religions. Kevin Samuels says a lot of truths, some things that I agree with. You know what I mean, Jen, with as far as like some realities that women do need to face about themselves and about what their expectations are in a relationship. So I agree with you on that. And there are certain, and I think it comes a lot from the younger generation. There's a certain amount of guys in the manosphere that are very, very toxic, and the way they disrespect women, the way they come at them, and things. And I do believe they come with that attitude from that perspective that I've seen Kevin Samuels be with women. Not all women are a size 4 or a size 6. Not all women are, that's 35 and over is done, or the saying, ain't nobody checking for you after you're a certain age. I don't believe that those things are true. When I hear him say those, I've only watched him a couple of times, but there is some things that some women are delusional about with their expectations that they're looking for in a man or a mate. And I've seen some of those episodes too, where he tells them basically, like your expectations, like the woman that was on there that I think she had weight loss surgery, and she weighed like 250 pounds. I think she was heavier than that, but she wanted this guy that made over $200,000, and it was just unrealistic and was very delusional, because we know that the majority of the percentage of men do not make that much money. You know what I mean? The percentage for men that make six figures is very low. So, everybody can't have that man that makes six figures. That's just reality. This is what it is. So I think women need to be more realistic about their expectations and what they want in relationships. There is a cult-like mentality that has been created on YouTube with a lot of YouTube content creators that I've noticed. So I definitely agree with you on that. Just as well as, you have the beehives and you have the barbs and all of that. I think that you're right, Jen, that, these content creators should not allow, just as well as they speak up for the ones that's giving them money, they should speak up for the ones that's being cyberbullied and attacked. If you have this large following, and that they're going to side with the person that, like you said, that they support. But I think it is the obligation of the content creators to not allow their chat to just literally be bullied, cyberbullied. And like you said, it has gotten, I know for a fact it's gotten very personal. They've called people's jobs. They've filed police reports on people. So it has gone too far. It really has. It has gone too far. And I would love to see that gap, that bridge between the Black woman and the Black man be mended on YouTube, just as I feel like the wedge is being created more to set them apart. I'm told, I'm not sure how true it is, I'm told that Cynthia G has a degree in psychology. I believe that there is a certain sector of Black men that she go after, like your Pookies and your Ray Ray type of guys. And that's in all races, but I believe she's talking about, those ne'er-do-wells, if you will, that sector of men that, want to put themselves on a pedestal, but they're really nothing but, as she called them, allegedly dusties. So I do agree with you. And I agree, just like I said, it's like a religion. There's certain parts of all religions that's some truth to it, right? You just have to be smart enough to dissect what you want to hear and what you want to not hear or follow, and who as well. You know, it's like chew the meat and throw out the bones, so to speak. That's just my take on it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. If it's okay, Jen, I would like to, since she's been really patient, I'd like to give Jawanda a chance to give her objection. I'll go ahead and
Please
reset
do.
the.
Yeah, I'm good. Please do.
Nice. All right, so I'll go ahead and reset the timer here. Give you 2 minutes, Jawanda. You've been very patient. Thank you for joining us. What you got for us?
Oh, thank you very much for having me on, Frank.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jen. I agree with your points. I'm a new YouTuber. I just started. I have two pages actually. One is a gardening channel, Country Living in the City, and the other one is the Black and Healthy, uh, Restoring Black America. And you know, I've been looking at the YouTubers, just trying to get some ideas and trying to be supportive and everything. But I can't support everything that's said. I'm a healthcare professional, so a lot of I have to censor myself very much because I am a licensed professional. I'm not going to get on YouTube and degrade people, because that can always come back to bite me in the butt. Okay. I'm not, as a healthcare professional, you take oaths not to be harmful to people in any way. Like Jen said, people are suffering from PTSD. They may have depression. Something, I don't want to be responsible for making somebody do something that's degrading to themselves. And so, yes, I do believe there's a huge gap between Black females and Black males, but I think it's a more constructive way to bring us back together than to degrade each other. I actually was a supporter of Shahrazad Ali, um, because I was raised by old school, and I don't believe the younger generation of women understand what it means to be a lady. See, my mother emphasized us being ladies, and ladies can object with their man, but they know when to pull back. So I just think people need to take more time to get the backbiting out of the way. You know, both male and female. I see it on both sides, being a new YouTuber and looking in,
Mhm.
you know. So I don't want anyone to feel bad on YouTube. That makes no sense. We're getting information from this place, and we're trying to network with each other. So where's all the discord? You know, I don't understand it. And
Let's actually hold there. I think you see the guest timer. What we like to do is have our guests get a certain amount of time here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And that's fine. That's fine, because we're going to come back to you. But just in order to keep our conversation moving, we definitely ask that you just be mindful of our guest timer. So far, two great, I mean, absolutely great points of view. I understand your objections. I want to throw it to Jen. Do you? I know you've been listening. Do you have anything to say on either of their points?
Yeah, no, I agree with them. I have no objections to what either of the ladies said. I just wanted to say that I think we pick and choose who to give passes to according to who kind of speaks to us, right? And what I hear people saying about people, and I'm not picking on Kevin Samuels. Like I said, a broke clock is right twice a day, right? No one's gonna agree with everything I say, and no one's gonna disagree all the time either, right? So, but what we do is like we kind of like describe him like Trump. Remember that's what it sounds like. The way white people spoke about Trump, like he's not that bad. He's right sometimes. It doesn't matter that he has a mob of people wearing red hats that ran into the Capitol. You got to admit, sometimes this guy makes sense. Like, and we need people to just tell it like it is. And what happened with his mob? People ended up dead, right? So that's what we're doing, with my opinion, with these YouTube characters, where it's kind of like, because he said something that we were thinking for years about the opposite sex, we make excuses for him. We give him passes. He's not, All right. So, one guy or two slapped the woman in the face and said Kevin Samuels to me, but he's not that bad. He talks about black love. And I think we have to be very, very careful when we do that. That's why I went back to the fruit that the tree bears. Is it majority people acting really, really horribly after they hear Kevin Samuels and quoting him? And with this, when you said, listen, you got to watch a whole video. He's not all that bad. I'll say this about that. I'm a quick study, right? I'm pretty professional, pretty good at marketing. I can watch someone speak. I can watch their mannerisms. I've studied body language, and I can pretty much know where you're coming from and what your goal is pretty quickly. I've also casted in film, so you have to know very quickly if an actor is qualified. You have to be trained in like, this isn't going to work. This person isn't going to be good for the long haul. So I don't have to watch an hour of Kevin Samuels. All I have to know is his before pictures, where he came from. What does his resume look like? How is his relationship with his exes? He was behind on child support. So there are things, whether you like it or not, that are part of a person that you can kind of gauge who they are. I don't have to listen to Kevin Samuels speak for an hour. And I will say this, if he had qualifications, if he had a psychology degree, right? If he had a resume where it's like, I'm, an intimacy coach, I'm a couples counselor, I am trained in this, I am trained in psychology, I would gladly sit and listen to Kevin Samuels for the entire hour. But I am not going to sit and watch a clown who knows what he's doing, who's trying to chase the bag, who is incensing people to fight each other. I'm not going to sit there and give him an hour of my time. Time is precious. I know who Kevin Samuels is. Like I said, it's entertaining, but I'm not giving you an hour of my time because I don't think you're qualified to teach me anything. Now, I'm a quick study. I love learning. So if you are qualified and you know more than me, I will sit through the hour. But I'm not going to play the game with you sitting there with a suit. And last year, you had to. Last year, you looked like a complete buffoon, and you had to go through plastic surgery and dress different and talk. And now you're like whatchamacallit, you've revamped yourself. So now I'm gonna listen to you because you look better now. So you must know what you're talking about. I'm not giving you an hour of my time. I'm not. If you're not qualified, I'm not. It's just like if I need if I need something fixed with my Mac, I'm not going to a guy that talks about Macs. I'm going to a guy who fixes Macs. Okay. So you have the Apple shirt on. Do you work for Apple? No, but I like the shirt. Next, I need a guy that works for Apple. I need my Mac fixed. So I'm not going to someone who's not qualified to hear about relationships. I can't. That's why I can't do the, come on, give him an hour. Like, would you give Trump an hour? Would you give Trump an hour if I told you, hey, listen, so what, those guys ran up in the Capitol? He makes sense sometimes. Give him an hour.
But
y'all need to, crazy.
I think you need to slow down with these direct comparisons of Kevin Samuels to Trump. He is not.
I'm talking about his following. His following is the same. It's the same thing. And you're trying to rationalize, like,
well, I'm not trying.
Sometimes he says good things. So don't worry about all them guys that are degrading women online. Sometimes he says some good things about black
people. I'm not going to try to be a Kevin Samuels apologist here, but all I'm saying is that, with these comparisons, I don't even want to pull up. That's just like people who get upset with, and they want to compare Trump to say somebody like Hitler. Let's just Trump be Trump, and let's be Kevin Samuels be Kevin Samuels. There's some things very specifically that Trump has said and done specifically himself that people understand what the context is, and there's no necessarily apologetic perspective that we need to take. I think that Kevin Samuels, I disagree. I think that if he had a psychology degree and he was still saying exactly the same things, you find a way to discredit whatever it is he's saying because you don't like or didn't like the way that he comes across with some of the things that he has said. But it is what it is. When you say, let's do the, check the fruit, is the majority of people being vitriolic, or are the majority of people not being vitriolic? Kevin Samuels has over 1 million subscribers. And I have not seen an explosion of his followers going out. Again, we're talking about 1 million, so if 50 of them say, are out doing something silly because they think they heard what he said, or they're misapplying something that he's saying. And you hear about a few of those 50, that does not describe or characterize what he is talking about. He has more than just male followers. He's got, when he did his call-in show, he had men and women calling in, explaining, "Hey, I get what you're saying, you know, and this is why I've subscribed to you." You know, these are not idiots. These are not people who all, you know, hate women, or, you know, or have an anti attitude towards women in general. They understand his points. And it just sounds like what we get is, you know, if he comes out and he says something that even like, I don't agree with everything that he says, or even how he says things. He's really blunt unnecessarily sometimes, and he can be rude unnecessarily sometimes. He can be all of these things. And he's done some things that I'm like, no, 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 no. But you know, my thing is, no, I'm not going to come here and say, oh, just, you know, have an apologetic. Well, some of the things he says are good, so you guys need to give him you know, space, or, you know, give him a little bit of grace for if he's not perfect with it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he needs to definitely be held accountable for the foolishness that he himself brings. But no, it's a mischaracterization to say that Kevin Samuels himself is the person who is being vitriolic. And I'm not going to allow somebody, or at least I can't um, I can't give you a whole lot, or give your opinion a whole lot of weight, Jen, if you are saying that I am basing my opinion on, you know, either something that I saw a long time ago, or I saw a clip of it. I'm a quick study. I know I'm right. I haven't taken the time to actually study this person. I've watched him for 5 minutes and I know exactly who he is. I'm putting words in your mouth there. I know you're not saying 5 minutes, but you're not watching him. You're not taking the time to understand what it is that he's saying in totality. And that's typically what happens. So that's kind of what you know, that's my response to you. We have our two guests. I want to have them kind of jump in, and then I'm going to give you, actually, Jen, the last word. Because now unless we want to go, because now this is good. We're
We
objecting.
can go. I may be eating pizza on the screen, but soon. But we can go. I got an objection to everything you just said.
I know.
Object.
So let's go to Patrice, and then Jawanda. Now I'm gonna give it to Jen, because this is getting good. I like this. Go ahead, Patrice.
Yeah, it is. And here's my thing. I don't mind in our Black communities that we should have mentors, right? I believe that they're, you know, because some young Black men and women need that because they don't have a father in the home, or especially for Black men with no fathers in the home, or Black women that doesn't know what it is to never had a mother that led them on to be how to grow up and be a young lady or be a good mother and things of that nature. So I'm all for that. But my thing with our community is, why do we long so all the time for leaders? Like, why do we long to always have somebody to look up to? And we have been let down in our community so much by these so-called Black leaders. You know, if the ones that were the good ones that are dead, like your MLKs and your Malcolm X's, they're dead and gone. But the leaders that are coming up, they are now all being exposed. Your Dr. Umar, your brother Polite, you know, all these leaders that are now being exposed for ripping people off, you know, and just taking advantage. You know, that's this certain, you know, pedophilia, you know, within the religious cults that's going on now. It's always something with our Black, AKA so-called leaders, you know what I mean, that we look up to. So why do we as Black people feel like the need that we have to almost like worship somebody in our community, you know? And then they let us down. We've been let down in our culture so much. So I don't so much look for leaders per se. I want to find like a mentor or something for the young people, or lead by example, not necessarily lead me. I'm going to worship you. I'm going to put you on a pedestal. That's what I want our Black community to get out of. I really do. Do I still have time, or is my time up?
If you have something quick, you can. You before I pull the timer off, I'll let you go for a while. If you want to.
Okay. Yes. So maybe you guys can understand what I'm saying, and maybe give me your opinion on that, because this is where I keep seeing that our Black community is going wrong. Like once we get these leaders, and they're very charismatic, right? They are very well spoken. They're charismatic. They know the things to say to Black America. They jingle the carrot. They jingle the shiny objects, and we just run. We just get so hypnotized by these things, and then these are the very people that are letting us down at some point. And it's causing more division in our community. So I don't want to look up to leaders. I don't want to put leaders, Black leaders, on a pedestal, male or female. Mentorship, I'm all for, but it's a difference.
Right. Thank you. So yeah, I have a point of view on that, but what I'm doing is put a pin on my point of view and be respectful. I want to bring it around to Juwanda, let her give an opinion or an objection, and then go to Jen, like we're saying, and then I'm going to respond to, or I have a point of view on what you just said, Patrice.
Well, thank you. I agree with Patrice because I see a lot of, in my faith, I call it idol worshiping, people who put others on a pedestal. I believe the playing field should be level, especially when you're trying to wipe out 400 years of the effects of slavery, especially in our Black community. That's mainly what my channel is about. So the fact is, I give information from professionals and from people that have written information about our community, studies and stuff, where we can come together. Yes, our relationships are torn, but it's a factor of many things. But I want to go back to the degrading of each other. See, that's where I have a problem with it, because like we're all on this panel. We may not all have the same opinion. We're not from the same racial backgrounds. But we can sit here, speak as intelligent people, and give our opinion without disrespect. And that's what I have a problem with. I myself have only seen snippets of Kevin Samuels, but I've seen others on YouTube who, there's all this cursing, the back and forth, the name calling. I just don't understand. If I'm just trying to talk about the healthcare disparities in the Black community, why do we have to curse each other out about it? So I just understand there's a lack of respect all around. And I think a big factor needs to be the respect. That's all I have right now.
Agreed. I am with you 100%. And I'm so glad that you just bring that point out, because that's exactly, as you see, like the number one thing that we stress here on objections. We want to make sure that we stay respectful, because that's how, because we disagree. I'm about to let Jen jump in, and she's about to tear me a new one because she objects. But the respect part is what I agree 100% with it. And so if we can show by our example and maintain it, that we can have these different points and still be respectful, that is how we make progress. In my opinion, that's how we make progress. Jen, jump in.
I just want to give you some kudos, because you're absolutely right. Now, with that said, it's going to take us a little longer to get into 1 million subscribers, because we don't appeal to angry people like these other YouTube personalities, right? going back to Kevin Samuels, and I swear I do not want to pick on this man. I still want to talk about the mob. I am concentrating on the mob, which is why I compared him to Trump. Is Kevin Samuels even in the same room, on the same floor as Trump? Absolutely not. But their mobs are parallel. And there always seems to be a but this happened, his following did it, but women follow him too. Women are not weaponizing Kevin Samuels the way men are weaponizing Kevin Samuels. Again, his rise to fame, his explosion was when he berated a Black woman on his show. Kevin Samuels is not famous for putting couples together. Kevin Samuels is not famous for healing people. Kevin Samuels is not famous for talking about PTSD and building a community. Kevin Samuels is famous for berating Black women to the point where he's berated Black men, but that's never gone viral. That's never gone viral. So you have to understand how uneven and dangerous that is to the Black community, for real, for real. His rise to fame, his explosion was berating a Black woman. We've all seen the video. We all know who that woman is. So I'm sorry, I object. You can't tell me that his mob isn't like Trump. The man is weaponized. And we can say, well, Trump is worse because, you know, yeah, he has more money, he has more power. Can you imagine as Kevin Samuels grows, how horrible his mob is going to get? Like, what are we waiting for to happen? So then we can say, see, I told you he was dangerous. This man already has Black men threatening Black women, calling them all kinds of things, quoting him in debates online. What are we going to wait for? We can't take this lightly. That's why there's a whole petition trying to get him down, because you have to look at the fruit the tree bears. I'm going to keep saying that. So in that way, staying on topic with the mobs, he very much so has a following like Trump, very much so. And yeah, Trump has female followers. They wear the red hats too. But men quote Trump. Trump berates women, okay, online, on Twitter, or whatever. He's not berating men unless they come for him. So it's the mob. I'm talking about the mob and the following, the danger of the mobs and the followings that these characters have, and they know what they're doing. And when the shit hits the fan, they go into the bunker. Kevin Samuels, we don't know where he lives. He's leaving people in a disarray, arguing online, and his Cash App is going up and up and up and up and up. He has nothing. He's like, hey, if that Black man killed that Black woman and quoted me as he was doing it, I never told them to kill anybody. Where have we heard that before? Trump said, I didn't tell them to run in there, but they use the language and they know what language they're using. So even though you're saying, I'm not a Kevin Samuels apologist, that is literally what you're doing. You're literally telling me, give him a chance, watch the whole thing. You don't know what he's really about. Watch the whole hour. I don't care if an hour-long Kevin Samuels video, at the last 5 minutes, he said, Black women are the best thing on this planet. If the first 45 minutes, he was saying they're not shit.
He's not saying that though.
It makes sense, but he's using the language. He's not saying verbatim, Black women aren't shit, but he's using the language, and that's why he's usually weaponized by other Black men. I
object. Go ahead though. He's not.
He's using the language. How much you weigh? You about a 4. You're not a 5. How much money do you make? So he doesn't have to say Black women aren't shit. Verbatim.
Wait, see, but you right now
using the language. It's just like what Trump did. You need to take your power. Listen to this. You need to take your power back. You're gonna let them get away with that? They stole the vote. He didn't tell them run in the Capitol, but he's using the language. It's not, and that's how cults happen.
Jen, the example you just posted is an example of why you don't understand. You just showed why you don't even understand what he's saying. You're saying that he, brought up the 4 and how much you weigh as a way of shaming, as a way of tearing down Black women, and that's not why those questions are asked in the context that he's given them. But that's how you take it. You're not understanding it, and so we can disagree, but you won't really know until you actually watch and you see the context. And here's the thing, and let me say this one thing, and here's the thing. There are hundreds of thousands of women who see the same thing that you just said and take something completely different about it. but Jen is right. And all those hundreds of thousands of people who actually do it, they're wrong. He's actually denigrating, and they're black. So not only that, they dumb too.
Yeah,
Right?
and there's, I mean, it doesn't matter that he has female followers. Do you know that women have
He wouldn't have.
Wait a minute, there is
Okay.
a rivalry. Okay, so he's not. When you say I don't understand, he's not an anomaly or a hard nut to crack. He's not speaking language that no one's ever heard before. He is not a scholar. Kevin Samuels is not a scholar. He's a man in a suit that figured out if you can incense people, you can get paid for it. He is not, it's not, you know, oh my God, this is so innovative. He knows what he's doing. So when you, of course, women are going to agree with him. Women agree with Trump when he's degrading other women. Some women will agree. Also, let's not forget there's a breakdown. Part of the breakdown of Black community is Black women want Black men to love them, to accept them, to want them, right? So when a Black man is saying something about Black women, some women are going to agree just to be on the side of a Black man that's accepting them. That happens as well. So it's not about, oh, I'm right and 100,000 women are wrong. He's being weaponized for a reason. I know exactly why he says you're a 4, you're a 5, because he's saying Black women have expectations that are unrealistic. I know what Kevin Samuels is doing. Like he's not. So when you say I don't understand, I understand entirely what he's doing. I understand why he's telling people, oh, you're a 5. You know, you can't get a 10 if you're only a 5. But the manner and the language that he's using is so good and so vitriolic that people are weaponizing him. So if your words are able to be weaponized, you're saying it in a way that is very, very negative and counterproductive. That's my point. He's not a hard nut to crack. It's not like, I wonder what Kevin Samuels meant by that. I know exactly what he's doing, but it's something that Black men are weaponizing, and that is dangerous to Black women. You can't clean that up by saying, well, you know, at the 1.5 mark, he did say that, you know, Black families have to come together.
Okay.
Like, God bless America. Like, it's like, so the mobs is what I'm talking about. Not the men, but it's the mobs, the way people react. People are vulnerable out here. They've been through trauma, they're hurting. So it's like any little thing, like, oh my God, he said something I was thinking. There's a reason these men are being weaponized, and there's a reason they move people in the hundreds to attack other people. It is dangerous.
Okay. All right. So I want you to have the last say on that point, unless someone comes in
done?
on it. No, we're not done. We're not, because for me, what I want to do is kind of, I promised Patricia that I was going to put a pin and kind of go back to a question that she asked about just in general about our leadership. And it's actually something that was supported also by Jawanda. So here's the thing, my opinion, we need leadership. You know, and when I say we, I mean all of us. You know, leadership is a part of the human condition. Anywhere you go where you find human beings, you're going to find leadership. And if that's going to be, you know, at every level, you know, at the highest level, in our case, we have a president. In another country, it might be something slightly different. And then you just go down. A company has a leader. A school, you know, a high school, an elementary school, they have leaders, principals. Businesses have leaders. So leadership is a part of the human condition, and we have to have leaders. So when you say Black community, we have a problem with our leaders, and our leaders are, you know, we get these leaders and we, you know, and then they lead us astray. That's a part of the human condition. That happens all the time. You know, from the highest level, you know, again, from the entire country, Trump was a leader who, in my opinion, led this country astray in so many different ways. People are going to say the same thing about Biden. You, as a leader, you are going to have your critics, and you're going to have people who roll with you and people who are detractors of you. And so in the Black community, it's no different. You know, we are all imperfect people. We're all imperfect beings. When you find yourself or you rise to a position of leadership, and you have people who think differently or want to go different, or you do it to yourself, you end up messing up. You're going to have people who then say, hey, you're leading us the wrong way. You're taking us the wrong way. There's a fall from grace. It's the oldest story in the book when it comes to, you know, what we know the media does. pump people up only to bring them down. So I don't think that the issue that you kind of bring up, Patrice, is one that somehow is just about the Black community. And we have these leaders we put all our faith and trust in, and then they lead us wrong. It's a matter of we have people who rise to positions of prominence based on the things that they're doing, whatever it is, and people who agree with them follow them. And if they are, a strong enough leader and have a position that's strong enough that enough people can roll with them, that's what happens. And then somehow, some way, often we find out sooner or later, be it in short amount of time or a long amount of time, that the person wasn't perfect and they were human, and there's some human failing that comes in that really takes away from our perception of who they are, which we shouldn't have had that perception in the first place, because nobody's perfect. Right
Okay.
now, and I'll let you jump in a second. Right now we see we hear way after the fact that Martin Luther King, MLK's death, you can go and do research and you can find dirt on MLK, real talk, and stuff that's legit that people aren't bringing up. So MLK, as great as he was right now, maybe it did him. Maybe it was slightly a positive that he got taken out before all these things could happen, because at least that huge legacy wasn't tarnished while he was alive. So you just, my point is that it's going to happen with our leaderships. We need leaders. We need to continue to have leaders. The Black community needs leaders, and I don't think that because these things happen, it should detract from the fact that that we should be willing to follow leaders who are actually doing positive things in the community. What's your objection?
And yeah, and the only thing I object to that is that the point of it that I'm trying to interject is that the leaders that are being put on the pedestals have been the toxic leaders. The ones that are on the ground, boots on the ground, they get very little to no recognition. And that's the part, because we always want to follow the popular person, the person with the most money, the person with the, that has the most power. And that they sometimes are the ones that are the most toxic people. Boots on the ground type of people that is really doing the work, putting in the work, and they get little to no recognition. People don't even know about them. They can't even get funding.
Who are the toxic leaders?
I just said, name some, like your Umars, like your Brother Polites, like your Tariq Nasheeds, like your, oh my God, it's several of them that is toxic and questionable, and their leadership is in question. They're being exposed for ripping off the Black community. They have been being exposed for a lot of things. But these are the people that we put in the power, and then it's so hard to get them off the pedestal that they're on, because they still have this cult following of people that will come at you and want to cancel you and want to, make a phone call, have you lose your job, have you lose everything that you've worked so hard for. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in the entertainment industry. I've seen somebody make a phone call and that person is blackballed in the industry, can no longer make records, can no longer tour. Look what they just did to the baby, just for speaking his mind about the LGBTQ elemental P community. It's like you cannot have an opinion. You cannot disagree with people, except they want to cancel you. But we put these leaders on a pedestal because a lot of these leaders that are in the entertainment business are these very same people that's destroying the careers of people that's, disagreeing with them or making a statement about a certain community of people. And they're getting canceled. These are the people that's in the entertainment that are leading these industries, leading these award shows, leading these different things. And it's like you say something, them and all their cult is coming at you and you're getting canceled. That's why I'm saying the cancel culture needs to be canceled. Yes, and the thing with us is we get hypnotized to the first one that's so charismatic, that's dangling the carrot and the shiny object, because that's what we like as a people. We've always liked that one that's charismatic, that know what to say. I'm talking about a lot of pastors that I've seen that is very toxic. in these communities, some of these big old mega churches and pastors and prosperity preaching pastors, they are all now being exposed for certain things. So
It happens.
at what point are we as a community, if you say we want leaders, we should be able to have leaders that we can put out of leadership, out of office, without having to go through all of this and fight, and then the damage is done like years later. Like years later, it was a buildup and we all saw it, but nobody want to say anything because you're working for these people and they can fire you and they can cancel you and they can blackball you. But so we sit and we say nothing. That's the same situation with the R. Kelly situation. It was people around him that aided and abetted. We got people in our community that aid and abet these type of leaders.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. You can't quibble too much with what you're saying. That's for sure. I want to be respectful. We still have Jawanda right here. I want to give her a chance to object, and then we'll throw it to Jen. Jawanda?
Well, I agree with negativity brings more negativity. So the fact is that, yeah, I've seen the results of people going after each other. Like I seen something with Tasha and lead attorney, Tasha K.
Right.
And they're biting each other. They're saying disrespectful, ungodly things on nation wide YouTube. And those are the things. And I just don't understand why our people like entertainers as leaders. Like tomorrow, I'm doing research right now with Dr. Oliver Brooks. Now, most people don't even know who he is, but he's a Black man who is the head of the American Medical Association. And he's pushing right now because of the COVID and how there were so many disparities in the minority communities during this COVID pandemic. He's pushing for curriculum to be put in the school about anti-bias teaching. And that's very important to all minorities. But are you going to hear that on a channel of only 7 subscribers? No, but that's what the intelligent people, the ones that are doing the most positive, I do agree, they're not going to get the play because everybody's looking to be entertained. But if you're going to make some change, you got to stop the entertainment. You know, these beehive people, Nicki Minaj can't teach me anything. I'm sorry. I mean, she got some good beats and all that stuff, but she can't teach me anything.
Right.
I done went to school numerous times and I don't see where she can teach me anything. But she has a whole following of people who would attack someone for her. That's it. That's all I got to say.
All right. No, thank you for respecting the guest timer. That's good stuff. And it's funny. We do have some objections, but we find ourselves agreeing on a lot of these good points. And I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear also, Patrice. I see where you're coming from with it. Jen has been, now you've been the one that's been patient because you had to hear me come back and then you had to hear, a couple other things. Jen, what you got?
I don't mind. I like good dialogue. See, I can sit and listen to this for an hour, right? I have to say the ladies have said a word, okay? That is what I am talking about. People confuse popular with power. People confuse popular with power, all right? And that's the problem. And like Patrice said, yes, we like the shiny things, right? And if you notice, it's like they're getting more and more savvy and more interesting, right? Tommy Sotomayor had really negative views of Black women, but he looks like crap, right? And then now there's Dr. Umar, he looked a little better. And then Tariq Nasheed, oh wow, he wears a jacket. Oh, and then Kevin Samuels, the coup de grace, he wears an entire suit. Oh my God, he got the fresh paper. But we're getting, you know what I mean? So people are going to lean towards what's popular. Jawanda, I'm sure, has a very positive channel. She has two, right? Where she understands people need healing. She understands people have been through trauma. She understands that you have to address those things. But is she going to have 1 million followers? Is she going to have people quoting her? Is she going to be shiny enough to attract the droves of people that come in and on these, you know what I mean, YouTube streets? We've seen it. I've seen these people more. Going back to the lead attorney, I don't have anything against him either. And I understand why he cut the call that I was on, because he has to cater to his following. Everybody has to cater to their following. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But even with him, what attracted me to his channel was, first, I'm a fan of law. And it always sounded to me like he knows what he's talking about, and he's very calm about it. But we've even seen him morph into the, let's talk about the gossip. Let's get into a fight with Tasha K. So we've even seen him morphing into one of these YouTube charlatans. Why? Because it's more money. He got a bigger following. If you go into, you're not going to make money in a circus if you're not dressed like a clown, because we're here to see clowns. So if you come out, you know what I mean, in some shorts and a t-shirt, I bought a ticket for the circus. Where are the clowns, right? And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So I completely agree with the ladies. It's like these people are just popular, but they're powerful because of their mobs. And I saw someone say in the comments, I'm sorry, it scrolled up, so I'm sorry if I get your name wrong, but it was Queen something. And she said, I think you're exaggerating. It's not a mob. They're literally mobs that go after people. Thank goodness for me, the people I've worked with and put movies out with are also family. But they have contacted me and said, oh, such and such just sent a DM to my mother trying to call you this, that, and the third, and asking you why I have you in my movie. This is what these people do. Like Patrice said, they try to do if you disagree, which is why I stand my ground. Which is why I stand my ground, because you can't let the mob, right, dictate what happens with you. I will not cower. I can't. It's like, but if we don't stand up to these mobs, they're going to get bigger, bigger, and worse. Mark my words, okay? I'm going to say it here right now. I'm going to go back to this, and this is probably going to be a very important quote. Something really bad is going to happen with one of these characters online to somebody. And we're going to rewind back to this, what I'm saying right now. It is not just entertainment. These mobs are dangerous. They're very vitriolic. There are people that are striking out at other people, while their leaders, the YouTube leaders, are safe in their home behind their Mac. But I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because these people are incensing people that are already in pain, that are already hurt, and are already angry. This is way, way beyond just rating a woman who thinks that she wants a high value man. It's way beyond, I'm telling you. And it's
so make the prediction. Who is it going to be, Jen? Which one?
Again? Oh,
which
you want
mob?
me to guess which one?
Yeah. Whose mob is going to be the one? Because you like calling it.
If I had to guess, let me speak through my ancestors.
Is this a prophecy?
Wait.
I'm playing bingo. If I had to guess, I would say Kevin Samuels, because although we've had guys before him who were very rich, I mean, Tommy Sotomayor is hell on wheels, but he doesn't have the following. He doesn't have the following like Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels blew past everybody. He blew past everybody because YouTube is getting more and more popular in our communities. We weren't on these things as much as white folk, and now we are. This is our thing, right? So I would guess Kevin Samuels, only because it's a lot of his followers, they're just bizarre, right? I thought it was going to be like a Tariq Nasheed, but even he's losing his. Kevin Samuels is eclipsing everybody now. Okay. So I would say that that's the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did something in the name of him and his point of view. I think it's more dangerous than people think it is. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'll give you props for, because I put you on the spot. You was out here making predictions. I wanted to see if you would actually, be specific. I give you props because you got specific. So let's see how it plays out. We notice here that we have brought Von Bryant in the house. Let me just say real quick, Von, I got to do it because you were on my very first stream ever. You were one of the first people, I think the first, to actually support me
Oh wow.
financially, you know what I'm saying? So just I'm gonna always give you props. You are a day one supporter. So, you know, just thank you so much for, you know, that as well as participating. You got some objections. I saw you itching to call in a little earlier. Talk to us.
Well,
Like, I object.
well, well, you know what? I appreciate this format, the panel and everybody on it. Um, and yeah, I had no idea that this would spiral into something about Kevin Samuels. So, because you know, it's like a beehive, if you can say that. You know, if you say anything derogatory, you know, here they come for you. The manosphere, you know, and I don't know, it's kind of like a boys' club of a lot of bullies. That's just my opinion. And I'm pretty sure I'll get blackballed for this, so I may not even start a YouTube channel. But I don't appreciate Kevin Samuels. I don't appreciate Kevin Samuels' approach when he's speaking to women and young, vulnerable women. And I do not like the way that he cuts people off. And you know, you can hang the phone up on a person that's suicidal. You know, your words mean a lot when you speak to other people. So in that respect, I don't appreciate his approach. Now, does he say some things that are right? Okay, yeah. You know, I would say that he does say some things that are right, you know, but it's hard for me to subscribe to somebody that tells me the truth 3 times, but then you're telling me 10 other lies. So how can I put stock in what you're saying? You know, and I see the vulnerability of a lot of these young women that call in, and I was just shocked, you know. And I haven't just been only watching clippets. You know, my name is Von Bryant, everybody. So remember, if I ever start a channel, I did say this about Kevin Samuels, you know, because I know the manosphere is going to try to attack me. But at the same time, man, I have such a problem with people who have such an arrogance and are so condescending when they speak to someone. And if I had a black daughter that I was raising, I would never teach her to accept that type of treatment from any man at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would raise my daughter to be a queen and to have confidence in herself and to know that she can accomplish whatever she sets her mind to do. But at the same time, yes, Kevin Samuels do say some, you might want to put the clock on. Kevin Samuels do say some things that I do agree with when it comes to the naivety of some women and what they expect. Here's another thing. This 1 to 10 thing, you're a 10 and you're an 8 and you're a 9. Let me tell you something. What's a 10 to somebody else? Well, let me put it this way. What's a 3 to somebody else is a 10 to somebody else. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder of what beauty is. And I just don't like the way you rank these women and everyone has to stand up to the standard of Beyonce or whoever the celebrity is that's hot. Everybody's not supposed to be in that mode like that. There are some beautiful women that don't even wear makeup. There's some beautiful women that wear makeup, you know? So my problem is after listening, because I had to grudgingly listen to him for hours on end. And like I said, he does have some valid points that he's making. And he's very statistical, you know, and that statistic always has to do with the majority. You know, did you know the majority is wrong the majority of the time? Because didn't the majority try to get Trump into office? But I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to be political or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my take on it is, man, we got to do better, man.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to our women, man, we have to do better in how we're relating to them, how we're relating to them. I don't believe we should be browbeating our women, man. I don't believe we should be putting them down like that. You know, oh, you're a 6 at best. Well, who are you to rate somebody? You're not God.
Mm-hmm.
If she's a 6, what are you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
This is the problem I have, and forgive me for rambling on, but you know, I've been holding this in, and I didn't want to say anything, but like I said, I was just itching to kind of get this off of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not a great fan of Kevin Samuels, man. I'm just not, and I respect TLA and all the other followers, But I'm not. I've never been a follower like that, man. When God is in it, and it's led by the Spirit, and you're telling me something, then I can go for it. And I see I have 9, 10, 11. Oh, is the time going up or going
It's
down?
going up on you now. You crossed the barrier.
You know, so on this one, man.
So let me do.
You know, you know, I guess you can hear the side that I'm on, but wow, come on, man, we got to do better than this. You know, and everybody's following this person.
So
and they call him the Godfather. There's no God in that. There's no God in that.
I need to respond to that.
Yeah, let me stop the timer here.
Let me jump in.
Oh,
please.
Lord. Now Jen's gonna come after me now, right?
Not
on your team. Go ahead.
Not at all.
All right.
To stay on topic, the fact that Vaughn said, "Oh my God, I don't want to be blacklisted. Are they gonna come after me? If I start a channel," yes, I said this about Kevin Samuels, is right on topic. To the point where it's like people are fearful to have an opinion. Vaughn didn't say anything derogatory about Kevin Samuels. He just has his opinion. He's like, he's a little too strong on women for me. You know, just an opinion. And even he prefixed it with, "Oh man, they're gonna get me." Therein lies the problem. That's what makes someone dangerous. I saw someone else comment. TLA said he won't have to say anything to his retractors because his fans will do it for him. So these people are thriving off of these mobs. And I'm sorry, anything past 10 people is a mob. So if you have 50,000 followers that you know are going to look out for you, that is a dangerous situation. Something else that Vaughn said, these women are vulnerable. People are like, well, she called in, so she deserves whatever. These women are broken. I watched maybe 15, 20 minutes of Kevin Samuels one time. He was speaking to this woman who I think she was damn near prostituting herself, is how kind of she described her life. She's in tears, okay? She has kids jumping up around in the background. You can see the background in her home is a little disheveled, right? And he's talking to her like she's garbage. This woman is crying. Who knows what happened after she hung up the phone? Do you think Kevin cares? Hey, his audience was entertained. Who cares what she does after she hangs up this broken woman? That is dangerous. It is dangerous. There's nothing cute about it. And again, I will say, if he took 3 minutes in that video to say, but hey, black women are great, it does not matter. These mobs are dangerous. To stay on point, and no one should be afraid of having an opinion if your opinion is not saying go out and hurt such and such. It's like we can't even disagree anymore, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's funny, like I said, even if you start out really nice, people start morphing into, well, I need more money, right? They get drunk on money. It's a lure. It's attractive. I need more money, so I need to be more controversial. I need to talk about, I would never, when I first started watching TLA, I would have never guessed that that dude would have been in a verbal fisticuffs with Tasha K. I would have never thought that would happen. I would have never thought.
Come on now, Tasha K came for him first, though. He didn't start it with her.
But what are we, children? He hit me first.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Right, but
you're right about that, Frank.
He should be able to respond. It's not like being kids, but like he was just offering a legal opinion on her situation. And she went completely through the roof with it. And I
thought he handled that quite great.
Do you remember I told him that was going to happen? Oh, I don't know if you were on the videos yet, but I told TLA that was going to happen in the very beginning, because he was like, oh, I like this person, and I like that person. I like Tasha K, and I like the guy Aston Aaron. I don't know his name. I like him. I literally told him, you're going to be fighting with these people in a couple months. You're going to be fighting with them, because I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into. And what is he doing now? He's fighting with them. Exactly.
Well, he's not. He go ahead. Well, wait,
can I interject, please?
I'm gonna put you on the clock. I'm gonna put you on the clock for it, and then
and it's not even gonna be that long.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to.
I want to go back to the ladies, because I'm sure they've heard some things that they want to respond to.
Right, but I do want.
Can I just say something really quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Vaughn on the clock.
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so and here's the thing, like Jen was saying, Vaughn was reluctant to say this because, all these people could, come after him, and I don't have a YouTube channel. But at the same time, if I'm on a panel speaking, now I'm going to get browbeaten by these people. What do you mean, brother? You're a simp. And see, the words that we use to define each other, there's nothing sip about me. You know, I love my wife. I have a 16-year-old son, you know, and it's nothing that I have to prove. But I hate these derogatory terminology that we're using to describe our characters. And it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. And it's offensive. I'm not a simp because I don't, because I disagree with Kevin Samuels. Come on. He's just one man who has an opinion, you know?
For sure.
He's just one man who has an opinion. And I agree with, you know, it's just like you chew the meat and you spit out the bones. And that's my approach with Kevin Samuels. I chew the meat of it all, but then I spit out the bones. I can't swallow everything he's doing. And you know, and when you hang up on some young vulnerable girl and you're talking down to people like you're just this statue of I've arrived. You know, there's a saying that says pride goeth before a great fall.
Okay,
that's
right there. You said it was
okay.
going
I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
All right,
I wasn't
Patrice?
supposed to call in, Frank. I'm sorry.
No, I love that you did. It's all good. Patrice, I want to give you 90 seconds if you want to object, if you have something you want to jump in.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I just be glad when Black people get to a point where they don't feel that they have to have a need for a leader that they have to put up on a pedestal like a god. If we worship human beings, and a lot of times we worship them more than we do the God that we say that we love, the God that we say that we believe in, the God that we say is the head of our lives and make all things possible, whatever your creator looks like for you. We take another human being and we pour more into them and put them more on a pedestal than we do the creator that created us, that we say we believe in. That's the part where that is problematic for me. And then we know that some of these leaders are toxic. We know it, but we will watch, we will cuddle, we will kumbaya, we will agree, we would know and watch behavior that we know is inappropriate, that we know is not right, that we know that is wrong for where we want to go as a community. But yet we will accept it and we won't say nothing because we may be on the payroll. We may be, you know, that's my friend. You like somebody, you know, because you like them. You're afraid to disagree. You're afraid to have an opinion, you know, in fear of all these things. So when are we as a community going to get to a point where we can have mentorship and we can have leaders that are leading by example, but not put them on pedestals like they're gods if they are doing the right thing about our community and about our health and about our wealth? When is that part? When is those bridges going to be gapped between Black men and Black women where Black men are not talking down to us and we're not treating Black men some type of way as well? Because it goes both ways.
I'm gonna actually have you pause right there for me. Good points, actually great questions. I want to give Jawanda 90 seconds as well, and then we're gonna throw it to Jen.
Well, this has been a great discussion. And I think the key thing, like I made before, is respect. We can talk about the differences in our community, even hold each other accountable. Just like on this panel, we've been talking all night. All of us don't have the same opinion, but not one person has been disrespected. I was just flabbergasted when I seen Tasha K come after lead attorney. I find him very respectful, and I've been on his channel before, and he's brought me up before, and I didn't understand why she was even attacking him. He was doing what he normally does on his channel, and that's talk about a legal case. And hers happened to be a public legal case. So if you don't want to be in the public eye, don't get upset when people say something about you. See, I try not to create that environment. So I do in tell agree with Jen to an extent. If you bring out discord is going to resort. So that's why my key thing is the communities need to learn to respect each other. That's all.
That's a great point. I'm right there with you. I think you're in agreement also with what Patrice mentioned as well as Vaughn. Here, I will pull the clock and throw it to Jen. Definitely jump in.
I want to respond to Jawanda. You know, using that description, then everybody, including the lead attorney, is putting himself in a position to get clapped back on. Whether he's just doesn't curse, right? Just because he doesn't curse doesn't mean he's not going after people, right? Some people say the same things, just some people have vulgar language and some people are nice about it, right? I had an ex like that who was always very condescending, and he was like, yeah, but I don't speak with bad language. And I'm like, you can still insult somebody without saying an F word or an S word or a B word, right? And I think TLA, you know, he was very, like I said, I enjoyed him in the beginning because he was by the book law, but then he started targeting certain people. Okay, you go after Tasha K, whether you're speaking nice or not, if you're just dissecting her case, she's gonna come after you in her language, right? So it's kind of like when you push somebody, let's say they hit you with a sledgehammer. In your mind, you're like, my God, I only pushed you. Why are you hitting me with a sledgehammer? You can't dictate how someone responds to you mentioning their name. So by your description, then we're all asking for it. To be quite honest, even TLA, even though he speaks in attorney jargon, right? And I don't think TLA is as innocent as he tries to paint himself or other people trying to paint him. TLA knows who he's going after. TLA has called people racist who aren't racist to create a buzz on his page. TLA is in the Black YouTube streets. He laughs about it all the time. He brings people in that are controversial. He calls Kevin Samuels his godfather, even though Kevin Samuels is a very controversial character. So he's far from just an attorney who's minding his business and discussing law. That's what he was in the beginning. That is why I subscribe to his channel. TLA is something else right now, right? And that's why he's getting in a verbal fisticuffs with Tasha K. And it's not just going to end with her. It's going to happen with Donovan Sharp and Aston Arton, I forgot his name. It's going to continue happening because now he's there. Now he sees how he can make his money faster and how he can gain a following faster. Anyone who's calling Kevin Samuels godfather knows what time it is in the YouTube streets, and he knows what he's signing up for. So I don't look at Tasha K sideways because, oh, she came in cursing and being disrespectful. He called for her. He sent out the bat signal. You can't dictate how someone comes back to you on the YouTube streets because there are no laws there. There are no rules there. There's no etiquette. It's like every man for himself. And it's sad because, again, it has to do with the Black community. And it's like, oh, look, just another platform where Black women and Black men could fight each other. First it was on TV, then it was on the radio, then it was rap, then it was music, now it's YouTube. So it's like Patrice said, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? And now these guys have followings that can go after individuals. So in my opinion, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about a suicide or a crime that happens behind these types of vitriolic dialogues. I would not be surprised.
Can I just interject something right quick? Because I was one of Black women that spoke up on lead attorney's behalf. And I will say it's a difference in coming for somebody than just giving a generalization of Tasha's case with the whole getting information from this woman, you know, that's in trouble with the feds now, and possibly Tasha can't. I didn't see that lead attorney came at Tasha in a way like that. I saw him just analyzing it, breaking it down as an attorney, and then he in turn got attacked by Tasha K, who later gave a phony apology as to say, you know, I was hungry or making excuses, but I think she was actually the one that spitted the vitriol. And in the defense of the lead attorney in that way, I will disagree with you on that, Jen, when it comes to the Tasha K situation, because Tasha K was dead wrong for what she did with the lead attorney. That's just my opinion.
I see it that way too.
But
I agree with
the
that.
lead attorney has also attacked people and apologized after and said that he was just tired. So my thing is that they all do it. They all do it. I don't think that anyone is more innocent than the other because they wear a suit. That was my point. Like they all do it. The lead attorney did an hour or a couple of hours video on me calling me racist, though he knows nothing about me. So
Right.
they all do it. And I could have responded. I could have took it to the YouTube streets and, berated him and told him this and that and third. And what does he know about? I could have went there, but that's not what I want to do. That's not what I do.
And Jen, in your defense, I did speak to the lead attorney about that on Rebuilding Black Wall Street. I did actually ask him, was it a way that this could be mended and this and that and the other? I had my opinion. I actually felt and didn't take offense to what you said and how things happen. And in fairness, I did, but his thing was no, and that was where he stood. But I just wanted you to know that I did speak up on behalf of that. Because
Right.
I'm not on a particular person's side. I'm on the side of, to me, what's right, period.
Right.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
said.
you.
That's how I feel too. And
Right.
thank you for even questioning him about it, but I blocked him a while back. I wouldn't go on his show no matter what or whatever, because it's just keeping the drama going back and forth. And like I said, I was disenchanted already after I saw the way he was going and being like, oh, I'm like, okay, he's going down Charlatan Street. I was like, yeah, I was disenchanted. I was like, okay, he's not what I thought I was next. But there are a billion YouTube channels, so it's no love lost or found. No hard feelings, no.
So here's the thing on that then.
Okay.
And then this is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to roll. I'm about to give everybody, let's go ahead and do,
2 seconds.
no, right. I'll go ahead and do 90 seconds for everybody. And please sum up whatever your comments in those last seconds so that we can end it. The only reason why I'm kind of pushing to end it a little bit, just so y'all know, is because I have another show right after where I'm talking about, I'm going to be talking about my, you guys know from the other video, the Life or Death graphic novel experience. And so, I don't want to push this and I don't want to rush it too much, but I just know that we're going to have some people with questions on that one.
I'd like to hear people address the mobs as we leave out. If that, just so we can end on topic, I'd love to hear that, and then whatever else that they want to add to the discussion.
So good point. So I'll go ahead and give the full 2 minutes as we go through. So Vaughn, I think do you want to go ahead and be first as we go?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it like that.
Vaughn is ready.
Yes. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, this has been very passionate conversation once again.
Mhm.
Maybe one day I can come on and just be real calm and talk. But
no, we like the passion. Bring the passion, because you're not acting up. I'll pause it right here.
Okay,
You're not acting up. You're doing your thing.
All right. Okay. So about the mob issue, like Jen was saying, yeah, it's crazy. That the mob is crazy. It's like a swarm of bees. And whoever they feel like attacking, they attack. I think it has to do a lot with this cancel culture crap, and and everybody going after one person. And also as far as the TLA thing, now TLA is my guy, so I will have to say this: I did not appreciate the way the young lady came at him, and I thought that he handled himself quite well, because he could have taken a different route as to how he responded to that. But at the same time, now you got your TLA people, and they gonna pound on Tasha,
Mhm.
But it's just like, it's the way it is. But I think that we should all, if we just have a certain level, a level of love and respect for each other, I think the way that we are relating to each other will turn out much better. It would turn out much better when we approach each other with love and respect, and empathy and all of these other things that could go along with it, and again, like I say, as far as the Kevin Samuels thing, he like I say, he has some truths and some things that I don't agree with, and I was not getting on your platform to bash him at all, but I'm just simply stating my opinion. And just thank you so much, Frank and Jen, everybody on the panel, Patrice, And what's the other young lady's name? Because I didn't hardly hear from her.
Jawanda.
Jawanda. You know, it was a pleasure to be on the platform with you all. Thank you all for your time.
All right. Thank you. That was perfectly timed. Thank you for respecting the clock on that one. Always, always awesome to have you, Brother Vaughn. I'm going to continue to go from the bottom of my screen on up. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the back, Brother Vaughn. That was well said. And you know, this whole thing is kind of inspiring me to maybe come back to some of the things that we talked about. But I'll talk about that when I go last. Thank you, Brother Vaughn. All right, Jawanda, we have you. Would you like to take 2 minutes and make any final observations or final objections and kind of sum things up?
Yes, thank you, Frank.
Mhm.
I just want everyone to know that respect is a big thing. And, I don't want anyone to disrespect me in these YouTube streets. But I think it really has to do, the key is the entertainment portion. When One thing I wanted to bring up, my channel is in the education category. It's none of my channels won't even come up in the feed that these other YouTubers come in. Once you get in the millions and stuff, yeah, it's entertainers, so people flocks to those things. But I mean, if you search out YouTube and you want some information, you'll find the ones that's doing the work, the coalitions for Black farmers, the things that you need to tap into. There's many things, disparities in the minorities communities, and these people are on YouTube, but it's a small community of us because we're being outnumbered by entertainers.
Let me pause you. I'm gonna pause your timer real quick. Shout your channels out. Though you said one or two, whatever you want us to kind of go to and visit. Shout them out.
Okay, I
Gail,
have
go ahead.
I have two channels. One is Country Living in the City. It's an organic gardening channel.
Hmm.
I believe in chemical free, organically grown, non GMO foods.
Hmm.
And the Black communities are really bad in health. And I'm trying to teach people how to garden without a yard. I
Yeah.
live in the city.
Okay.
Also, my second channel is Black and Healthy, Restoring Black America. We talk about healthcare issues in the Black communities and the minority communities.
Mhm.
I give resources for help. I bring on psychiatrists, doctors, legal nurses to help with, even career information. So that's what my channels deal with.
Okay, thank you. Gail will probably find them, and she may even drop the links here for your channels for people to join. But thanks for shouting it out either way. So if we please support Jawanda here. Those sound like two awesome channels. All right, 45 seconds on the timer. Keep going.
Well, my point is that I believe in respect. I believe in the Most High God of Israel, the one in the King James Bible,
Me too.
and the fact is that I'm always a follower of Him, and I always have to act like that. And that's just the same thing. You have to act like what you proclaim. And God is the head of my life. So I'm going to always act like that. So even if people act mean towards me, I will still be respectful because that is what I am. That is
Amen.
all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
And love you. And before you go, so you see here, I posted what Gail Lockett and let me just stop and give Gail the biggest props. She is the #1 big boss mod. There is none greater, no moderator greater in these YouTube streets at all, from as far as I can tell. But I'm gonna put you in the back, and if you can type the links to both your channels, then I will post them here, and that way we'll at least have direct links while we finish up. Can you do that?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you so much for the time and the commentary and contributing to what we're doing here with objections. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the back, and please put that stuff in the private, and I'll do my part. All right. Okay. Let me go ahead now. Patrice, you've been very patient. What say you? How do you object, man? You got 120 seconds.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you, Frank, for always being so warm and inviting me on your panel to give my opinion and points of view. It's always a pleasure seeing Jen as well, and being able to converse with the both of you. So I appreciate that. I do realize as a Black woman, or as a woman in general, that we all ain't gonna always agree. We're not always gonna be able to have everybody on our side. We're not always gonna be able to have everybody to join the boat in which we are paddling a certain way, right? That's because of the way we all are created different and have different of opinions and different mindsets, right? So I'm just saying that we should be able to do that respectfully. And in these YouTube streets, it has gotten to a point where that is not being allowed, and that is being tabooed, and that it is being, you're the cyberbullying and the things that go on the side. I know someone that just recently got their platform, they're banned off YouTube, like gone, because they got into drama with other YouTubers, calling people's jobs, finding out people's address and where they live, trying to get them fired, filing order of protections. Like, these are people, that, when you see that these type of people are constantly, for clicks and views, are being in these type of controversial situations on YouTube, that's very toxic. And no matter what, the more we contain something in our brain and listen to, whether it be music, whether it be consumptions of, like when the kids play games, be careful what you're consuming in your spirit. Be careful of what you are allowing to be interjected in your mind. Again, stop putting leaders and YouTube content creators and people on pedestals like they're gods and worshiping them. You have to be able to pick and choose and be wiser than a serpent to know what is good to consume for your spirit and what is not. So I would just like to say in closing, like, we have to be critical thinkers. We have to be better than, be wiser than the serpent when it comes to things like that, because the greatest trick the devil ever pulled, and this was my favorite line in the Usual Suspects, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is to try to make people he didn't think he did not exist. And that is true with a lot of these AKA leaders out here. Okay.
Dead on. I can't object with nothing you just said, Patrice. Thank you so much. When you gonna get a channel? You don't have one yet, right?
I am going to be creating my channel very soon. I got all my equipment. I'm working on it. I'm by myself, so I am not mechanically or technically inclined. Right. So, okay. Like, I got help over here trying to help me put it all together. But when I do, I will let you guys know.
It's good to hear, Patrice. I feel like you need one. Thank you so much for how you contribute as well and how you support. Always glad to have your voice. I find it a voice of reason. And, even when we disagree, when we object, we still have a blast doing it.
Nothing but respect and love for you and Jen both. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put
shout out to the chat.
Okay.
No one's doxing anybody in the chat. See, I like our chat.
Me too. Okay, Jen. I see you the whole time. You've been taking notes. We'll give you all the time you need to go down.
I was writing down Juwanda's pages. That's very, very, very important. Eating healthy is very important in our communities. We got to put the pork down. I want to validate Gail because I don't want to misconstrue, but I want to validate Gail. Gail said that I responded to TLA like the next day. That it was a while after I responded, but what I meant was I was addressing Patrice when she asked TLA, hey, is there a possibility for you guys to work it out? And TLA was like, he said what he said. What I meant was I wouldn't go back on his channel again. I'm not getting in a back and forth with him because it was obvious him and I weren't going to agree. Plus, he already used me for controversial content. So he can't really back out of that after he used me for controversial content. So yes, I responded to him on my page, but what I meant was I wouldn't go back. If he was like, hey, come back on the channel, let's discuss, I wouldn't do it. I'm done with him. Like I said, he said what he said. I responded to it on my page and I blocked him. Like I wouldn't go back down that avenue. I already know what's down that street. I moved on. So that's what I meant. So I do want to validate Gil. Yes, I did respond on my page. Absolutely. I think, you know, I addressed everything. Again, I want to thank the chat and the people that come on the panel. I'm so loving this show. I know that we run this show, but I have so much love for this show, just watching it myself and watching people's opinions. And even when you guys disagree with me, is always respectful. And that's why it's so important that you share us, and we need your support, because we're not going to grow 50,000 followers and subscribers overnight, because we're not cursing people out. Right. And we're not rating people, and we're not cutting people off. So it's harder for us to climb. So please share our channels, share our opinions with people, talk about it, say, hey, you got to watch Objections to your friends and your family. Join the panel next time. We love to hear from different people. We always keep it respectful. If nothing else, you will always get respect on this channel. So I appreciate everybody. Even if you look at me like I'm crazy after I said something, I appreciate you. I don't need people to agree with me all the time, and I don't need angry mobs. So I think I said everything that I wanted to say about mobs and YouTubes and celebrities and things like that. And just thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you. And don't forget, Objections is either on Frank's page or on my page. So go to On the Block with Jen and subscribe, because the next Objections show will be on my page, and then the one after that will be on Frank's page, and then the one after that will be on my page. So we go back and forth. We share this page. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Missy. Thank you.
All right. See how awesome this is? Again, I just like how we can get like right in it. Let's see here. Patrice here. Good, bad, ugly, and different. We all deserve respect. Objections is the bomb. Thank you, Patrice. Thank you. We appreciate it. And it's true, because you see, it's coming. It's part of who we are. We are making sure that we uphold the tenements. And, you know, you're not going to see me, you know, flipping, what is it, getting money hungry or whatever it is. And you're not going to see
me. Not, because I'll leave you.
I know. And we know.
And then I'll be talking about you. I used to love Frank.
Right.
About Frank.
Okay. I can't have it. Can't have it. And but you get the impression that Jen is not about that either. So, you know, because this is who we are, this is what is always going to happen here. So, yeah, I just echo those comments. Let everybody know. We feel like we're being an example. So it's just real good to know that you can kind of go in and, hey, listen, let's just get to the nitty gritty a little bit, how we do, but they'll still come out on the other side, and hopefully having shared some things and learned some things as we go.
Just because we need each other.
We do.
We need each other.
We need each other. So good stuff. You guys have been rocking with us for over 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Being respectful of everyone's time. I think this is a good spot to end it here. However, I get the impression that we will probably come back. We're going to circle back to this again, Jen, sometime. We're probably going to talk about Kevin Samuels. We're probably going to talk about, you know, some of these other celebrities, and you kind of you became a soothsayer tonight, Jen. We're gonna see if we're gonna come back and see if something foolish happens with you know, the Kevin Samuels followers.
You're gonna hear first on Objections.
Right, and we got the receipts.
With that said, I really hope not. I'm just saying it is dangerous. You keep playing fire, you're gonna get burned.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. I'm with you. Don't want it to happen, but it's saying, you know, Jen is just saying, listen, the potential's here. So I feel you on that. So what I'm going to do is lead us into, right now we still have some people who are with us. Part of the reason why I'm moving, ending the show is because, as you guys have seen, I have a brand new project that I am so excited about, and it's different. I'm calling it a live graphic novel experience, where I am going to translate a graphic novel that I wrote, that I actually started out as a feature film script, that was almost made a couple times, and I turned that into a graphic novel, and then I sat on it. And now there's this, I think, incredible opportunity to now, in a very, very public way that allows the viewers input and to watch it happen. I'm going to turn that from the graphic novel into a live performance using voice actors. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I want to, and there's going to be a lot of questions, and it's a little new, and people are wondering how everything's going to work. So I'm going to start another stream right after this one. So if this topic interests you, then please just come right back to me in less than 10 minutes now, so we can talk a little bit about it. I am having auditions for voice talent. You never know. Jen might decide she want to jump in and show us what she can do.
Wait, I need to plug something.
Go ahead.
The last film I was in is called White People Money. It is on Stars now. If you didn't catch it in the theaters, if you didn't catch it on a streaming network, it is on Stars. So if you have Stars, watch White People Money. It is a comedy. It is hilarious. It's starring Barton Fitzpatrick from The Chi and Drew Zadora from Real Housewives of Atlanta. I play Marina Donna. It is a family-friendly movie. It is a feel-good comedy. It's very funny. It's about someone winning a lot of money and what they do with it. So watch White People Money on Stars, and you'll see me in there somewhere.
Okay, I may just get it just to check you out, Jen.
You can watch it with the girls. It's a very family-friendly movie, but it's hilarious.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Nice plug. So that's another thing. Both Jen and I, we are in in our respective ways in the industry. Also, Jen writes as well, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of different ways that you can support what we're doing. So this has been a great objections. Across the board. We got a chance to go in. We're going to keep it up. The next one, just like Jen said, is on Jen's channel. Be on the lookout for it. We're going to plan the next one, and we're going to bring it to you fast. We don't want to have we don't want it to be a long time before we go from topic to topic. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing you all over on look at, I'm just laughing here. Don't go changing, Frank.
Very nice.
None of us will. I get a strong feeling we all going to be good.
Frank is going to get a $500 cash out. He's going to be, wait a minute.
I'm going to lose it. This is crazy. This is good stuff. All right, so we're going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and end this one and get us ready for the next one. Look forward to seeing you as always, Jen, on the next one. Appreciate you being here. My sharp partner, debate partner. Yeah, putting up the dukes, trying to give it to me every chance she gets. She's opened the show giving me L's, guys. Open the show. Very first show giving me L's. So look forward to the next one. You guys know how I like to end it. So if you have any comments, any last things you want to say, please type it in the chat, and I'm going to roll it over our outro. All right. And so with that, all right, y'all have a good one.
White People Money on Stars.